what happened on Saturday night up in Montreal, USA, Canada, and the news today. So this to me is what strikes me and where I would like to begin. Jim, give us again the latest on Charlie McAvoy today.
So McAvoy is not going to play in Thursday night's game. The Bruins, let me pull it up, have put out a statement, saying this. Just give me one sec. He's not going to play. He's dealing with an upper body injury. It feels like this was probably sustained in that last game that they played. He delivered that hit on Connor McDavid, and you haven't heard or seen anything of him since.
So he's out for Thursday, and let's just, for the point of this argument and the point of this discussion, say he's going to be out. He's going to miss Bruins games.
Yeah. So let me read the statement. Charlie was admitted to Mass General Hospital Monday to undergo testing related to upper body injury sustained during the Four Nations face-off. Currently being evaluated by Bruins head team physician, Dr. Peter Ansis. He will not play for Team USA Thursday. Bruins will provide further updates on his condition and status as soon as they become available.
So let's say he misses important games. He misses Bruins games. They're on the playoff line. Let's say he misses games. Let's say him missing games contributes to them missing the playoffs. Let's say his injury leaves a mark on the Bruins, however you define that. If you're a Bruins fan, should you be pissed?
Yes.
That he got hurt in this game, as you should?
Yes. Again, if you're a Bruins fan, yes. I mean, if you're the Bruins, you're pissed. So I would say you feel what they feel if you're a Bruins fan. And look, I like the Four Nations tournament, but the last thing you want to see is, key players. Like, let's do the comp on, say, Edmonton. You think Edmonton fans would be happy if Connor McDavid got hurt by that hit? Because I would tell you they'd be pissed. As much as they believe in the national pride and everything else, it's about winning a cup there. That's what it's about. Ultimately, that's what's going to matter. And so I think the Bruins are probably pissed. I think some Bruins fans are going to shrug it off because the Bruins suck and they think there's no chance anyway. But, to me, yeah, it's the one fear I think everybody has anytime you're in an exhibition like this.
So they're the last team, Mike, where my fandom really hasn't been altered all that much from doing this job. And frankly, I couldn't care less because I've enjoyed the Four Nations more than any Bruins game I've watched this year. And just with my pessimistic attitude, I know what their realistic situation is. It'd be nice for him to not miss games, but the best I've seen him look in years was with delivering this hit the other night, which changed the tone of that game for Team USA against Canada on Saturday night. So you know what? The players wanted it. I can get why the organization is pissed, and probably the same with Florida with Matthew Tkachuk and Vegas with Shea Theodore, who's out and missing the rest of this thing. The tournament's what the players wanted. It's probably helping grow the game, given the response to it. The players are into it. The fans are into it. So, no, I'm not mad he's got ultimately missed games and maybe cost them a playoff spot where I know what the outcome's going to be anyway.
I'm with Big Jim. It doesn't bother me. If the Bruins were better, maybe it would. But I still don't know. If I'm a Florida Panther fan, does Matthew Tkachuk doing what he did the other night and being who he is in these games, does that piss you off? Like, you wish he didn't play these things? I don't know. I can't speak for someone else. So, like, everyone has their own feelings on that. But for me, I don't know. These games, Saturday night, is why I'm a sports fan. It's why I watch. That game is what it's all about. It's why I love the sport. I mean, I can't be more entertained by hockey and more invested in hockey than I was the other night. So, hell yeah, I'm glad Charlie McAvoy sold out in that game. Now, we don't know exactly when he got hurt. It's, he didn't get hurt on the big check on McDavid, right? Because he played.
He did.
Right.
Yep, he did.
Were they saying it was a cross-check late in the game by Crosby?
That seems to be some of the scuttlebutt online. But again,
is there a clip, Murray? Do you have like are people sharing clips or things? Like, you got to catch me up on the online stuff. Like, are people sharing clips of a Crosby shot that he gave to McAvoy that may have hurt him, or what? What am I missing? Because I know I'm missing.
Yeah, I mean, it's all that you can really find if you look at McAvoy hit is the hit on McDavid. So,
okay, the latest reporting is that what he was sent to Mass General and he has an infection.
Yeah,
so
that part. Yeah, who had that? That's one of the Canadian reporters. I'm sorry.
Okay, so so that's the latest reporting. It's like, so I don't get where he got hurt or what, but the point is that I don't know. Even as a Bruins fan, I want Charlie McAvoy playing the way he played on Saturday night, and I heard you, Murray, yesterday say it. I'm with you. Where's that been? That whole thing, the mark he made on that game, And I was just, I got on him in game one. I thought he was less than in that Finland game. And then Saturday happens, and he gets blown by on that first goal. Hard to blame him because McDavid is something special. But it's like, okay, I'm still sort of feeling this way about McAvoy, like he's sort of less than what I want him to be. And then he stepped up, and that hit absolutely changed the game. It absolutely changed the tenor of it. And even if the U.S. still got outplayed, I wanted Charlie McAvoy making that hit. I wanted him investing in that game the way he invested in that game. And if it's going to cost him Bruins games, if it costs him the playoffs, like, am I an idiot because I'm okay with that? And would it change if they were good? Like, I don't know.
Yes, it would change if they were good. It absolutely would change. That was what I was just about to say. And look, again, I understand. I want them playing all out all the time, too. Do they do that during the regular season anymore?
God, no.
Okay, so and McAvoy does hit in the playoffs. He'll hit in the playoffs. He loves drilling people in the playoffs. He does it all the time. In fact, last year during the playoffs, you remember maybe it was the year before against Florida, where their record in games where he delivered at least one body check was better. They were like unbeaten versus, winless when he didn't hit somebody.
Yep.
So like when the problem is that when you play that way all the time, you're not going to make it through 82 games, let alone a 4-team tournament. So, and I'm not criticizing him for doing it. You asked me whether Bruins fans would be pissed. I love the hard play, too. I love it. I just don't think you can do it when they're paying you $9.5 million salary. And if the Bruins had Winnipeg's record, or again, if it were Connor McDavid who got hurt, what do you think people would be saying today?
How do you think Connor McDavid's going?
How do I
think he's... and what I mean by that is
he's
it's a rhetorical
hard.
question. He's busting his ass.
Oh, yeah, he's playing hard. No question about it.
Do you think Oiler fans are sitting up there saying, sit him?
No.
No, I think they're holding their breath, though.
No, you mentioned Florida. No, I think, Mazz, there's almost this semblance of like, that's our guy, and you don't have him. Like, if you're a Florida fan right now, you're saying like, oh, thank God we have Tkachuk. And even if, he did get injured, he had to sit out that third period that last game, but you're still like, we got him, you don't.
I don't know. All I know is Saturday's why I'm a sports fan. And I am a sucker for U.S. hockey. I always have been. When the Olympics come around and the pros are in it, we devote time to it. I invest in it. I care about it. And even this tournament, if they care, I care. And boy, do they care. And why I'm a sports fan at the end of the day, and if you've listened to the show over the years, it's the competition. I think Mazz feels the same way. I'm less impressed, but I don't mean to disrespect it, but what brings me to sports isn't who's the fastest, the guy that jumps the highest, runs the fastest, has the most skill. That's not what draws me to sports. I have total respect for the most skilled guy. But what draws me to the thing, what sucks me in, is the competition. And if there's hatred or if that whole thing, who stands up, who steps up, who doesn't, like that whole thing is what draws me. And, who knew, but we're getting it in this thing. And I don't have to tell you what Saturday night was. Everyone knows what Saturday night was. It's why you love the sport. And I want the U.S. to beat Canada in this thing. And I want them to win on Thursday night. And I want them to set the tone for a year from now when they go to Italy and they all play in the Olympics. I want them to beat them for the gold medal. And I care deeply about that. Do I care more than a Stanley Cup for the Bruins? I don't know. Again, this is just me, but it's close. It's kind of close for me. U.S. hockey was the first hockey team. Well, I guess maybe it was the Bruins before that in the late 70s, but right around the time. I still got the 1980 U.S. hockey thing, stuck in me. So what can I tell you? It doesn't bother me that McAvoy's hurt. I wanted him playing that way. I see the guy he can be and who I want him to be for the Bruins. And still the ceiling's there, and maybe he can be if he cares enough or screws his head on straight or whatever the case may be. But it's sort of so how do Bruins fans feel? You tell me. 617-779-0985. Do you have another thought?
No.
I was just going to ask you real quick, Mike, because, again, I expected it to be good. Are you surprised it's this good and this competitive that they're taking it this seriously?
I guess I am, yes. I mean, I didn't know which way it could go. I really didn't. I know how good it can be when they care. I didn't know they'd care. Because, again, this is not the Olympics. It's really a self-made or, I don't know what just sort of concocted tune-up for the Olympics next year. So who knows? Who knew what they were going to do and how they were going to play? And, we're showering all this affection, as we should, on the Tkachuks and the way the U.S. brought it, and McAvoy, I think it was front. And there's a couple of U.S. players that, I'm inspired by. Let me just give you a real quick example. To this point, I was always on Jack Eichel, he's a little less than I thought he could be or should be. I watched last night. I thought he was tremendous last night with the Tkachuks out, and I thought he was terrific. He didn't score, but he was a part of it, and he back-checked, and I don't know. So I didn't know, Jim, that they would care this much. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, I'm sorry, that as much credit as we all give the U.S., I give Canada credit too. They might be underperforming a little bit, but they stood up and took those fights the other night. They didn't cower. They didn't, Hagel, the first one, he's probably overmatched on that one. He stood in there and maybe took that fight to a draw. So I give Canada credit too. And it's like, you said it, if you're an Oiler fan, you could be sitting there saying, why are we playing McDavid? This thing doesn't matter. I get the sense, my guess is, there isn't a hockey fan in Edmonton, in Alberta, in Canada, that's saying, sit Connor McDavid. I bet they're saying, play him and win. And isn't that why we watch the stuff? So I can handle the McAvoy injury given that context.
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Mazz here. For more Bruins analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.